Dangerous weather on both coasts tonight. A dangerous commute here in the east. Thunderstorms, wind and rain. A regional airport in Hickory, North Carolina. Take a look. Ripped apart by severe winds. And this home in Shelby, North Carolina, pushed right off its foundation. Reports of several tornadoes. And here's ABC's Lindsay Janis.
Tonight, high winds toppling trees, sending them crashing onto cars and power lines across the Northeast. It's the same system that rocked the Southeast overnight. In the Carolinas, multiple EF2 tornadoes now confirmed. In Spartanburg, South Carolina, Jesse Sparveri huddling in the backseat of his car as the storm moved through.
My car was shaking uncontrollably. At one point, I thought my car was actually in the air. I had no idea where I was.
A tractor trailer overturned nearby. Our Gio Benitez is in North Carolina.
Here at Hickory Regional Airport, we're seeing some unbelievable damage. Take a look, a hangar just destroyed, planes tossed around like toys.
A half foot of torrential rain causing flash flooding in Boone. This vehicle floating away. Wes Berry caught in his minivan.
Wave of water washed over the hood and stalled out.
In the west, critical fire conditions in parts of Southern California. The region now a tinderbox. More than 4,000 firefighters battling blazes across the state.
Storms tearing through the southeast overnight. Several reported tornadoes flipping small planes. ABC's Gio Benitez is there on the scene at the airport in Hickory, North Carolina. Good morning, Gio.
Robin, good morning to you. We're talking about 7 reported tornadoes across the Carolinas. And just take a look behind me. Look at this unbelievable damage here at the airport. You see that plane, you see that hangar, and this is just some of the destruction here. Torrential rains and damaging wind taking aim at the Carolinas.
Look at that, there it is.
In North Carolina, at Hickory's regional airport, cars flipped on top of one another after a reported tornado touched down. This airport hangar ripped apart, winds picking up and tossing private planes.
It flipped that hangar over the hangar that's still standing.
The roof ripped off the post office in Lawndale, trees uprooted and crashing down onto homes.
All I heard was stuff hit the back of the building and we went down with the
Many roads left impassable, umbrellas not holding up on the streets of Charlotte, cars barely able to navigate the streets of Asheville. In Spartanburg, South Carolina,
Just got hit by a tornado. This is my truck.
another reported tornado knocking this tractor trailer to its side, leaving roads filled with debris and power lines scattered.
That's crazy.
Trees snapped like toothpicks, the roof torn off this industrial complex, igniting a fire. And while thousands are still without power across the southeast, there are no reported injuries or deaths. That's the good news, George.
Thank goodness for that, Gio. Thanks very much. Let's go to Ginger right now. That's severe weather heading north.
Now, folks from Maryland up through Vermont have the potential for those tornadoes and damaging winds. Also, flash flooding, which is something you saw in Boone, North Carolina. Those aerial images show you all too well what can happen with these types of storms, especially as this cold front slowly moves through the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic. So from Philadelphia to New York City, going to be a wet day up through New England. This is all through 5, even 11 p.m. We've still got rain and storms happening.
Triple-digit heat and gusty winds pulling millions on edge this morning as so many in that state are recovering from those record-breaking wildfires. 10 of them are burning at this hour. So let's head straight to Rob Marciano, who has been tracking it all for us. Good morning, Rob.
Good morning, Amy. This on the heels, as you mentioned, of those Northern California fires. This one is going to be focused across Southern California, and these warnings and advisories have been expanded in aerial extent and have been extended now to make this a 3-day event. The fire starts that happen overnight, just the beginning.
This morning, LA firefighters rushing to put out a fast-moving brush fire in the mountains north of Los Angeles.
There's a series of 4 or 5 small explosions and then a big one, and that's when everything lit on fire.
This blaze was put out, but temperatures will rise to reach triple digits as Santa Ana winds crank up. California towns from San Diego to San Bernardino bracing for prime wildfire conditions. In San Diego County, 150 acres burning over the weekend. A brigade of aircraft attacking that fire.
We're hitting this thing hard from the ground and from the air. The crews are making great progress right now, but we're going to remain cautiously optimistic. The winds have been a factor out here.
Black smoke pouring into the sky over Napa Valley Sunday. Nearly 30 acres burning there, with small fires breaking out across the state.
Usually we have 3 people on the engine. Throughout the county, we now have 4. Everything's increased today for the fires.
Fires quickly spreading earlier this month, leading to the staggering death toll of 42, the deadliest string of fires in the state's history. 7,000 homes and structures lost.
Certainly don't want a repeat of that. So firefighters are on standby at the ready across Southern California. Here come your Santa Anas. The setup is the high pressure. Those winds come up and over the mountains. They compress, they heat up, they dry out, and they'll be gusty not only today and tonight, but probably peaking tomorrow night. And look at these humidity levels, 5 to 10%. That is dangerous stuff. And the heat, that's what makes this one different. Triple-digit heat, and this is only the second time we've seen triple-digit heat this late in October. So these numbers are staggering for both today and tomorrow. We'll be watching this closely.
From space, an ominous sight, Storm Ophelia approaching Ireland. At dawn, in the skies above the southern coast, it seemed the crows knew something unusual was coming. No longer a hurricane by the time she hit land, but Ophelia battered Ireland's coast. And inland, her winds wreaked havoc, knocking things over, sending them flying, even as if in rage, a school's roof picked up and thrown. We were further north in Donegal, where the worst of the storm didn't arrive until towards the end of the day. In this town, as in towns all over Ireland, it's been a very unusual day. Streets all but deserted, shops closed, pubs closed, restaurants closed, schools closed, families waiting at home for the worst of Ophelia to pass.
Yeah, I was at the local shop this morning and it was like Christmas Eve. It was packed with people buying stuff, you know, waiting for the storm. I think everybody's kind of sitting waiting, and the town, there's nobody in the streets.
Scary, and looking forward to getting home. I think we're just in the blunt of it right now for the next couple of hours.
Meanwhile, to the east over England, calm, but Ophelia brought a strange glow to the sky. Not an impending apocalypse, say scientists, but sunlight filtered through dust pulled up from the Sahara and the forest fires in Spain and Portugal.
Technically, Ophelia won't be a hurricane, quote unquote, when it reaches the United Kingdom and Ireland. But we're really splitting hairs here because this is going to pack quite a punch as it moves, or I should say races, to in the northeasterly direction. Currently, Hurricane Ophelia just to the south and east of the Azores Islands, 160 km/h sustained winds, a very well-defined eye with this particular hurricane. By the way, wind gusts just shy of 200 km/h. This makes it a Category 2 Atlantic hurricane, but this time it's being picked up by the westerlies and a cold front that's moving in as well. That's going to allow for the system to just race off to the northeast. But notice it's really holding its strength as it goes forward over the next several days. It'll become extratropical. That means it's just losing some of its tropical characteristics. That's why this technical jargon that meteorologists use, we can't really quite call it a hurricane when it makes landfall in Ireland. Again, that will be late Monday and into the day on Tuesday. But it will bring strong winds, hurricane force, and heavy rainfall across this region. Look at our computer models depicting in a well-defined eye with our forecast winds. It will be a rough start to the week across Dublin into Edinburgh, as well as even London, feeling the effects of the system. And when I say that, it's really the wind field that's going to expand as we go forward in time. We're also going to get some rain bands associated with this moving in as early as late Sunday. And really conditions deteriorate for the day on Monday and into Tuesday for Dublin and the surrounding areas. You can see how temperatures drop off considerably as well.
The immigration building has lost a whole lot of windows at this point. Not good. The lamppost is down, one of the coconut trees are down. The trailers have flipped, the garbage cans have flipped.
I'm sleeping. Boom, boom, boom. What's the matter? Why you take this food? Come. Come. Because I wish my country, like your others, from me, they could clean up mine. We can't clean up now because we got a long way to recovery. Crazy? No,
Hurricane and tropical storm force winds are churning toward Ireland and the UK. Once a hurricane, Ophelia weakened late Sunday and was downgraded to a post-tropical cyclone. The former Minister of Defense for Ireland tweeted over the weekend, "Anybody not taking Storm Ophelia seriously should think again. I don't remember ever seeing a forecast for the South Coast quite like this." The UK's National Weather Service says many areas across Western Europe will get damaging winds today. Ophelia is moving north with sustained winds of 85 miles per hour. Authorities ordered all schools in the country to close.
We hope that all our students and staff and everyone heeds the advice, stays safe, stays indoors, and we'll see everyone back in school, please God, on Tuesday morning.
Officials are warning drivers to stay off the roads. Ferries between Ireland and Britain are canceled. The U.S. National Hurricane Center said the storm would bring 2 to 3 inches of rain to Ireland and Scotland, with coastal flooding and destructive waves.
We expect a significant number of trees to fall in our network. That will obviously disconnect electricity to our customers, but we may have live wires on the ground.
Forecasters are warning folks not to underestimate the ex-hurricane's strength. Seth Lemon, CBS News.
The Irish Weather Service issued a red warning. That is the highest level, and that warning issued for the entire country.
Wow.
nowhere to go, hunkering down in their hotel rooms. So while many took shelter, some were brave enough to venture outdoors.
I think it's still worse to come, to be honest. As it comes around and goes northerly, I think we're going to come more.
Debbie is the most powerful cyclone to hit the area in 6 years. Her force cutting power to more than 20,000 people. The Army is on standby to deal with the aftermath.
Per hour. We think this storm has what it takes to potentially get to a Category 2 before landfall. Plenty of warm waters, very conducive conditions here with gale warnings now in place for coastal communities from Townsville out towards areas of Mackay. About 250,000 people live in the path of this storm system, and landfall, our best projections right now say sometime between 4 a.m. and 6 a.m. local time come Tuesday morning. So certainly the early morning hours where this storm would be beginning to roar ashore around Townsville or point southward near Mackay. And notice the rainfall going to be tremendous with this come Tuesday morning, eventually into the afternoon hours of Tuesday before the storm moves out of this region. But amounts could be potentially up to 500 millimeters just outside of Mackay, if not within the community and the town itself. So a lot of rainfall to go around, and you think of that number, significance of it, that's about 1/3 of the annual average coming down within a matter of 24 to 48 hours. And again, Mackay on average gets over 1,500 millimeters per year. Very wet day ahead of us, very dangerous day on the coastal communities, over 4-meter wave heights and storm surge possible with the storm system.
Oh my God, there's someone with a boogie board going out in the ocean, it would seem. So that's obviously not a good idea at all. But there's a lot of backpackers in town, Kyle, and I can tell you there's obviously been a lot of cyclone parties throughout the evening and this morning because there's a fair few inebriated people here, so the authorities are out and about just warning people. We are in the eye of the storm. We're certainly not through the thick of it yet. Oh, hello, hi. Yeah, that's very dangerous. So we might just alert some authorities as to what's going on down here. Yeah, that's not good. That's not smart.